Next Tuesday, about this time, they'll be down to the 53-man roster, or at least the initial one. What do you think the toughest decisions getting down to that 53? We have a pretty good idea, but which ones do you think are the toughest decisions to get to 53 for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry?
I think the obvious answer is the wide receiver with Austin Watkins. I think and Jakeem Grant. I think those two. Do you keep both of them? Do you keep one of them? Do you keep someone else completely different? Do you go acquire him? So I think that one's pretty tough. But I'm going to go to the offensive line because I'm really interested in the offensive line, as I usually am, because they are either going to keep 9 or they're going to keep 10. If they decide to go 9, they have more than 9 or 10 quality offensive linemen. So what are you going to do? Are you going to try to trade one of these guys? Could you trade Michael Dunn for a compensatory pick? We've now seen Luke Whippler start playing at guard. So where does the versatility start and where does it end? And how many tackles do you keep? I just think there's so many quality offensive linemen that potentially are going to walk for nothing if they don't make this roster. So, I mean, it starts wide receiver, then I think it's offensive line, but I also want to say it's linebacker. Diabate is a big one. Are you going to keep him over Kanasic? Are you going to keep both of them? Does Matt Adams make it back onto the field? Does he make the roster as that special teams ace that he was originally signed to be? So I think that linebacker and offensive line are probably the biggest ones, but I know fans will probably watch a wide receiver the closest.
Which of the guys that are kind of on that roster bubble, the veterans, do you think are most likely to be traded?
I think it does start with Michael Dunn, the guard center from the inside, just because he's shown you in playoff games and regular season games that he can play guard. He's played a little bit of tackle. He's played some center in the preseason, and there's a lot of offensive lineman needy teams out there. And so I think he could kind of fetch you something pretty good. I think Josh Dobbs is an interesting name. Are they going to eat? Because if you're only going to keep 2 quarterbacks and you're going to go ahead and have DTR be the backup, I think you could probably get something out of Dobbs. He's got some starting experience. He shows you things in the preseason that are fun. And if you need him to spot start here and there, I think he could do something like that. And I think ultimately, maybe even wide receiver if they ended up trying to just move on and that's the way they want to go. But I think in the end, it's the strength of this team's the offensive line. And I think there's some guys in there that could find new homes so that they don't just cut really quality players for nothing.